You know, because you are going to, if you're going to delegate more authority to a manager, you're going to want to know, you're going to want a certain level of feedback to know that you're not missing something. You know. So you're getting things done. That's where we're going to be really clear about what the expectations are, and if we're getting them done, things are going right.
Questions, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I need the mic? Can everybody hear me?
It helps.
You're going to throw daggers at me. When we started down this road of contract manager, my vision for this was a guy that was here on site, didn't have any other districts that he was, you know, dealing with. 100% of his time was dedicated to here. And we still don't meet that, what I thought we had to begin with, you know, the idea. I think the idea was to have somebody that, because we interviewed other people, they would bring guys in and say, well, if you don't like this guy, just call up, we'll bring a new guy in, okay? With Kampa and Associates, we don't have the ability to say, we want somebody here all the time, and if we don't like that guy, send me a new guy. And, you know, we have you, which is great, and you've done a fabulous job. But by not being here, this is just my opinion, we end up adding, throwing more people at it, because if you were here every day, you would pick up some of that slack that we're trying to put on to this other person. And you should have that. I'm not saying you have to go out and take the edges like they used to do, and they never have done that a long time, but more hands-on. And just my opinion, that's what I thought we were trying to do, and save money. So that's just my opinion. I wish we could have more involvement from you on a day-to-day basis and re-look at this again, because this is the direction, this isn't the direction I thought we were heading a long time ago when we decided to do this.
I agree with Emery. I think that's the way I'd like to see it go too. And I've sent you memos on this, and anyway, I think that having a full-time operations manager here would help solve the problems. And I'm reluctant to have additional managers. I think we have supervisors here. Perhaps their job descriptions need to be changed. That may well be true to cover all the issues that there are. But I'd have to agree, Emery, that this is the way I would like to see us
go. I agree. I'd like to see the titles. I'm all for revamping the job descriptions, but not changing titles. And what I mean by that is, we have a general manager. I don't think we need an operation manager, because I think we need to have one key individual in charge of the district directing the two operations, the operations team and the administrative team. And collectively, I think that's what would work. One of the things, as I heard you communicate, is, you know, not getting things done. And to me, I wrote down, what is lacking is knowledge of where time is being spent and work performed. And that's been one of my pet peeves since I got on this board. I haven't been able to get that. I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record. But if we had that, I think that would answer a lot of these questions and the unknowns. Human resources. I feel that the general manager needs to be involved in every new employee hired here, along with the operations supervisor or the office supervisor, because it's imperative when you have such a small staff. A personality can destroy an organization. You can teach somebody a task, but you cannot change their personal dynamics, and dynamics are something that is so important here. You mentioned human resources again. I wrote down GM, key driver in that, and I'm looking at you as the key driver in the human resources again, and the coaching and mentoring of your, I'll say, two direct reports, which could be your operations supervisor and our office administrator, or whatever title. I'm not opposed to, and I'm in support of getting the right person and raising the bar, because I think anybody wants to stretch it, it makes the job more interesting and can be more fun, more stimulating. So we need to revamp our job descriptions, duties, and expectations. But what I've normally seen in the past is when you do this, you say, with the existing staff, can the person come up to the challenge? And you give them the first opportunity. Can our staff come up to this challenge, so on and so forth, and perform? And then they know that there's opportunities for growth. Because right now, everybody's pretty stagnant. So is there opportunities for growth within the organization? That can be stimulating as well. So I'm for this. I'm behind it. One of my thoughts, as I heard you talk about the combination of roles and responsibilities, coming up with a fair and equitable salary for the administrative team. What take 3 salaries? You got a third, a third, a third, and are we paying accordingly? If not, then we need to be fair to the people here, but we also have to be fair to the district and the community of expectations of performance and professionalism. All goes in line, all goes in line, So I'm for this, but I'm not for changing, I'll say, adding layers of what I'll call managers, because then if you really look at it, we have general managers, we have operations managers, we have administrators, we have 3 managers and 2.75 employees. So that ratio doesn't set well with me. So that's just Dan's opinion.
And I think also that we would be more efficient to have an on-site operations manager as well. I think we would see people operate and be more efficient knowing that person is there.
And I've got to get clarity on that, because you've said that twice. Operations manager or general manager?
Okay.
Or general manager that's an
Let
operations
me clarify, because I want to make a comment too. When I started this off, you started your presentation off was that we've had a working GM. We have not had don't take this wrong, a working GM in the field for the last 4 years. So the district has moved away from that model. And I'll say in years past, when I was not on the board, so I don't have history of that. I guess you did have a working GM that went out in the field. So when we've moved away from that for the last 4 years, we have not had a field. We've had an administrative manager, and that's what I think we've built in the last 2 managers that we've built it that way. So I want to make sure that we got to move on. That was history, and we're here today.
And I'm referring to your position as general manager. And again, I don't think we need to add more managers. I mean, we have a supervisor on either side, the administrator as well as the operations supervisor. I think we're fine on that. But again, those jobs can be clarified, and I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. Public comment. Mr. West.
Let me use that, or can I talk loud enough?
We can hear you.
I am an old consultant. The board back in 2006 or 7, whatever it was, when I first started getting involved with this, asked to check my resume. They checked my resume. I am an old business consultant. I've been through all of it. This is a $1.5 million business to $2 million business. It's going to be for some time. We need to scale for that size of a business. In 2007, I would have said I would have an administrative general manager. I did say that. Today, I changed my mind after being involved. What we need here is an operations manager, or a working foreman, if you will, and a general manager that can also work in the field as well as take care of the guys. We need probably 3 to 4 people in the treatment plant and in the distribution, and you'll probably have some leftover for doing the minor maintenance, capital activities. In the office, You need an administrator, controller, that is going to do most of the general administration as well as the finance and the controller activities. And you need at least one assistant for that person, and you need a half-time person for your secretary. The person in the office that's running the place should be a college grad, just because he gets the administrative and the financial background to deal with the people he's going to be meeting and working with. The controller and the general manager have to work as a team. The general manager is responsible for the operations. In other words, every controller always reports to at least 2 people, the good ones, at a decentralized location. It's going to report to the general manager. It's going to report to the boss. The boss is going to be in this case, because of the treasurer, the direct line, using the code, is going to be the board. But before you can do any of that, you've got to do another thing. You've got to separate policy from procedure. Policy, we can write all the policies for this place up in about 3 or 4 or 5 pages. The procedures take a whole book. And when we keep trying to work with policies and procedures, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. And not only that, that takes 3 people to keep that up alone. Okay? That's what an old business consultant would recommend.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Are you going to say anything? I will.
I have a question. What does Pete Kampa do for the district? Who runs the district is gone at Los Altos Water District, CSD over there? Supposed to be there 50% of the time. Who runs the district?
I love your questions.
Los Altos.
I love your questions, but we're hoping we could stay focused on the issue of what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. We need a full-time general manager over here. We don't need to fill 50%. Plus, does the board know that Pete Kampa also works as a manager in Tuolumne Utility? I mean, the Sonora Regional Medical Center?
We have had that disclosed to us, and it has been discussed at prior meetings.
And I talked to the people in Los Altos. They're not very thrilled with what's going on with him over there.
That's their issue, not ours.
Oh, yes, it is our issue.
So, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. I have a motion. No, that's it. Does anyone want to make? I will make a motion to move forward and direct staff to prepare a policy that further defines the general manager's role and responsibilities as it relates to the development and amendment of district organization charts and job descriptions. Prepare a revised salary chart for the board's consideration.
So that motion would necessarily not mean that what comes to the board is adopted.
That's correct. All we're doing is kind of like a project based on what type of work needs to be done. And I like Wes's comments, separate policy from procedures, because right now we are, again, I'm not speaking for the board, I'm speaking for Danny Johnson, we are lacking in operational procedures, which to me you're going to have the maintenance plan and job expectations in line, in place, before you can assign a position. So that goes into that procedural role. What is expected of operations and what is expected of each position under that? You could say the operations supervisor is in charge of everything below this line, and operators are in charge of this and this and this below this line. Ultimately, with you being the general manager, it's on you too, that you still, so if it doesn't get done, it's going to come back, okay, you can nail who's ever in that position, but we're going to nail you. So, I mean, that's ultimately where we end up going. So, I think it puts some structure. There's I feel we need to do something, but we have to have a maintenance plan, an operations plan, all those plans have to be put in place to say, we're going to make these guys responsible for this work. And along with that comes responsibility.